So thanks very much for joining us. This is a conversation and a discussion around supported employment. My name is Emma France.
And I'm Jane Parker.
And we are Somerset Supported Employment Coordinators. Jane and I have been tasked with the role to be able to develop and enhance opportunities for young people and adults with special educational needs and disabilities to secure supported employment opportunities and to work with our schools, our colleges, with our local employers and our community to be able to create new opportunities and pathways and routes into work. So that's where Jane and I come in. So we have been asked by Somerset County Council to look at that as an agenda and to be able to work with lots of different partners to be able to enhance those opportunities. We also thought it would be really good for us to explain why there is ABRI written on our slides, and Jane will just give you a little bit of an insight as to why that is the case.
Okay, so Emma and I both work for ABRI. Our job role, as we say, is supported employment coordinators, but we're also qualified careers advisors with extensive experience between us, covering all ages and mainstream and specialist schools. Within ABRI, there is an employment services team, and we become part of that. So that's our role within it. So we are essentially supporting ABRI's communities, and some may sort of know ABRI previously as Yarlington. So it's when Yarlington and Radian Homes came together, it became ABRI. We also have employment coaches who are there as well to support our ABRI residents if they need help getting to work, careers advice. So collectively, we are a team known as the Employment Services.
Brilliant. We just thought we'd just explain why ABRI is there. Okay, so when we're talking about supported employment, as it says there on the tin, supported employment is an evidence-based and personalised approach to support people with SEND into real jobs where they can fulfil their employment aspirations and achieve social and economic value. So, what we're trying to do is we're trying to identify what young people's hopes and aspirations are, what their dreams are for the future, but for them also to have a real opportunity to experience work, to engage with employers, to understand what their local community and what their local labour market is, where their routes to work can be, and how they can be supported through that journey to be able to come out and have sustainable work. And as Jane and I like to refer it to, as having a gloriously ordinary life. So we're just going to talk through the flight path to employment. So we put together some resources, and we'll talk about those a little bit later, and they are the Imagine the Possibilities resources. This was something that we put together with a team of other organisations and partners to be able to have almost like a one-stop shop of information. As Jane and I are careers advisors and we're supporting young people with special education needs and disabilities and with families, we found that sometimes it's often really tricky to find the information that you need and to be able to have a kind of clear understanding of what is available out there, not only around routes to work, but support that you can receive in Somerset and external to that, but also around what transition to college might look like, what transition into work may look like. And we developed together a families guide, which is what the QR code will lead you to and link you to, plus the link will also do that too. And we've put that in the chat as well. So please go and have a look. Hopefully it's beneficial and useful for you. But one of those things that we did as part of that project was this flight path to employment, so that we had a bit of a clear understanding of the steps into sustained employment. So I'm going to start off and Jane's going to then finish off. So when we're thinking about careers education, we're thinking about how careers is embedded into a young person's school experience, their educational experience, and that can be in lots of different ways. All schools have to follow the statutory requirements around the Gatsby benchmarks, and those are around making sure that young people have access to careers education, that they are being able to be provided with impartial advice and guidance. So that's the kind of role that Jane and I do, and other colleagues across the county, around providing that impartial advice and guidance in careers advice, and to be able to put together an action plan of aims and objectives about steps towards reaching someone's aspirations for themselves, as well as being able to engage with local employers, to be able to get employers employers to come into the school settings and to be able to make site visits and work experience opportunities, as well as embedding careers into all aspects of a young person's education in the school and their educational setting, so that they start to see themselves as having a place in the world of work and to be able to have as many opportunities as possible. So as I've already discussed, having work experience and employer engagement is really key to that. So Jane and I work very closely with our local specialist schools to be able to offer as many opportunities with local employers as we possibly can, and to be able to make those links so that young people can start to make that aspirational steps towards exploring different types of sectors, to be able to understand what the different jobs that there are out there, and to be able to build their skills accordingly. So I'm going to pass over to Jane, who's going to talk you through supported internships and traineeships and apprenticeships.
Thank you, Emma. So when we're looking at the point where a young person has started to prepare to think about work, has possibly some skills that they've learned through this either experience from school or college, they've been on like pathway to employment type courses, they might be thinking, I'm almost there. I'm kind of one step away from getting sustained employment. It'd be then that we'd be looking at something which is called the supported internship. Supported internships are offered by colleges within the county, and the aim of these is to, for at least 6 months or over an academic year, provide a block of experience of work. So you are going to work, you are going to do a job that has been talked about and put together, or there's a role that is there awaiting with the employer, the education provider, and a job coach support service. So there's the young person in the middle, and then these other things around them to support them. The aim of this is that at that point where they finish, then with the support of the education provider, the job coach service, you are then looking for that young person to go into work. A slightly different programme is called the supported traineeships, which as from the end of July will not be in the form that they're currently in, and that's about as much as I can say. So they are slightly shorter. They tend to be measured with sort of less than 6 months. Again, for young people who are looking to get into work, might need some work placement experience. They may need that extra little bit of employability skills, perhaps little tweaks to their English and maths. But as I say, that in its current form will not continue after the end of July, but we like to put it in because it's still talked about. If we look at then the supported apprenticeship route, which could be a route from a supported internship into paid employment, a vacancy as a supported apprenticeship is the same as an apprenticeship without the word supported, essentially. It's a real job with an employer, you're paid a wage, and you are working towards a recognised national standard for whatever that job may be. The slight difference with a supported apprenticeship is that you retain that extra support, or the expectation that you may not get to a level of English and maths that the standard requires, and that's acceptable practice across the country, and the qualifications that you would get at the end are nationally recognised. And I think that's a really important bit to stress. It's no different from anybody else. If you're competent to do the job, then that is what you learn over the course of your apprenticeship. And once that's finished, then hopefully there's still a job with that employer, and then you are in your sustained employment. But as I said previously, you can go from an internship or a traineeship, as they currently are, into sustained employment as well.
And I think the key thing is around that supported employment agency. So something that we use locally in Somerset is Discovery. So they're a supported employment team, and they offer a job coach service. So as Jane was saying, around the internship programs, the traineeships programs, and in the apprenticeships, is that they are trained specifically around it's something called systematic instruction, which is around a kind of like hands-off approach to being able to support someone to understand a job task, to break it down, to be able to work with the employer, to understand what the tasks are, so that you can then make them transferable, so that the young person can be able to pick the task up and understand it in a way that makes sense to them, and then to be able to continually support them in that work setting. So also, after someone has finished maybe their traineeship or their apprenticeship or their internship, that supported employment team would then continue to work with that young person to be able to help them sustain work if they weren't able to have got employment from the setting that they were working in, or that they were doing their program in at the end of their program, that they would then continue to work with them and help them, maintain employment in the community. So it's kind of like a package of a partnership of working, and everybody kind of signs up to work to make sure that the young person has the best experience, but also the best outcomes. Okay, so I wanted to tell you a little bit about what is on offer currently in Somerset, and what the aim is and the view is for the future. So we currently have a internship programme that is running with Avon and Somerset Constabulary, so with the police. This programme is a 12-month programme currently, and it has 8 young people that are on that programme. It is mainly based within the Bridgewater police station, main police station there, and whilst also using lots of other different host sites, and those include working with the horses with the police. It also means working with traffic in different areas. Young people are working with the forensics teams, they're working with the community teams. So some really good, really outstanding experiences that the young people are getting. When Jane and I went to go and do a visit, we weren't allowed past the front doors, but all the young people were. They all had their own police badges on. They'd all been vetted. They'd all gone through the vetting system to be able to become part of the police. So whilst they're on their internship there, they are able to have access to the same rights and responsibilities and the same access to services as any other officer and a member of the employment of Avon and Somerset. So great opportunity. So that is being supported by a training provider called CTEC at the moment, and with Avon and Somerset being the employer, and then CTEC being the training provider, so the educational bit, and then Discovery doing the job coaching. So again, it's back to that kind of partnership working. So all those partners are working together to get the best outcomes for those young people. And those young people are there 5 days a week, having real experiences of work with Avon and Somerset Police. So we're really proud of that project. And we are proud also to say, and very pleased to say, that project will be running for September 2023 for another academic year, and will be hopefully an expression of interest will be going out really soon, so that we can get young people signed up for that, and they can start going through the vetting process, which is obviously really important to be able to join the police.
Yeah, I was just going to say, just for that, it's worth knowing that the young person has to be 18 and above.
Yeah. Thank you, Jane. So Jane, do you want to talk about Hinkley Point?
Yes, yeah. So a further slightly shorter programme, which they have been calling a traineeship, as I referred to earlier, is with Hinkley Point C. This is again a programme where young people have been have gone through a very long onboarding procedure to enable them to actually access the nuclear site for their placements. So this would involve health and safety tests, the vetting procedures that any employee will go through. And again, they've had support with this, both from an education provider, which is Bridgewater and Taunton College, and the Discovery, again, the job coach service. And it's not just the young people that have had to go through these tests. The members of staff supporting them have to too, as well. So because they need to be able to access the site too. So the trainees who have actually now finished this current sort of rotation, they had placements with different employers who are part of the contractors working on the site. They were given opportunities to experience that work, to do real jobs. And as a consequence out of that, of the 5 young people that actually did it this year, 4 of them have now gone into employment with those contractors. the final person, although they enjoyed what they were doing, they just felt that that perhaps wasn't the environment for them. So they are being supported by Discovery to gain further employment. But all the skills they've had, all the opportunities they've had, will give them a good experience for their CV. There will be another HPC traineeship taking part. Again, you have to be over 18. The expressions of interest are currently out for that, and we have put the link on a slide with further resources that is at the end of this presentation. And Somerset County Council themselves have currently got 3 supported apprentices. They're about halfway through, so they are working in IT and in with, I want to say almost like the recruitment type area of the council. So they're working through with the support of Somerset Skills and Learning and Discovery again to gain their qualifications. There are plans to look at this for future cohorts, but because of the changes that are happening within Somerset, with the sort of the local authority and the districts all coming together, we felt it might not be the right environment for trainees to go into at the moment, because not sure quite how, you know, it may, if there's changes for staff, it might just be more unsettling. So there are plans for future, but not straight away in September 2023.
And what's great in between, you know, going through that phase that the council is going through, and the district council are going through, it means that they're still very much engaging with our specialist skills,
absolutely.
offering some work experience weeks. So a huge part of still wanting to offer that supported employment route for young people in Somerset. So we're really proud and pleased to be working with all 3 of those employers. So we just wanted to talk a little bit about the current areas of focus for us at the moment, just to give you a little bit of an idea of what's happening in the county and the direction that we're going in. So we have got a supported employment summit on the 19th of April that we are running, and this is to kind of increase awareness and support of local employers and training providers. So it's going to be a really active, really intensive day of being able to showcase young people and their experiences, being able to talk to some parents about, for them to be able to talk about their experience of their young person going through a supported employment route, being able to showcase some of the work that's already been done with local employers, like the ones that we've talked about, and other employers who have been through this process, as well as being able to kind of bring together employers that have showed an interest in exploring supported employment, and those that are currently offering supported employment options, and to be able to kind of almost put a pledge together. So the other thing that we're doing, which is actually next week, it's come around very quickly, is we have a supported employment workshop day with our specialist schools. So these are the heads and the careers leads in our specialist schools, and what we're going to do is spend the day workshopping with them about how they can develop internship offers, and to be able to make sure that they have got those kind of clear progression routes and educational curriculum packages as routes to work, and to be building the skills and awareness for our young people around what is expected in the workplace, about developing those real work activities, being able to engage with their local employers and to make some really good links so that they can be able to use those kind of consistent placements as examples of how young people can understand what it's like to be in the world of work, and to be able to develop their skills, and also to be able to make those decisions about what they want for themselves for the future. So they might think that they actually would really like to work in hospitality, but actually spending a few days in hospitality, they think, actually, I don't know if that is quite for me. So it's about, you know, it's about, as Jane was saying, referring back to that young person who made a decision that actually nuclear work wasn't for them, but actually they had built some skills that they know that they're ready for work, but that's just not an area that they want to work in. So it's being able to give as many opportunities as possible. So Jane and I are involved in doing careers plans with a number of the young people across Somerset in our specialist schools. And what we're trying to do is develop that kind of picture of what young people are looking for, which then shapes us shapes our decision making around how we engage with employers and the employers that we engage with, so that we know what young people are interested in. And that's kind of where the engagement with Avon and Somerset Police came from. So a little while ago there was some interest for young people a couple of years ago that really wanted to explore going into the world of work with the police and uniformed public services. So that's where those initial engagements came from, and that's where that internship has come from. So, you know, we're really trying to get that information from our young people so that we can begin to understand what they want for themselves, so that when they take that step out into looking at educational routes and steps into employment, that there are options there that make sense to them and are what they want for themselves.
We have a question, Emma. Would you like, it was Rachel, wasn't it? Would you like to?
Hi, it's not a question. It's just that I didn't know if you knew that the recording has just stopped, and I don't know if
Oh, has it? It
you-
looks like it's
Yeah.
still recording for me. Has it
Does
stopped?
it says in the chat, it says the recording has stopped, and it says
It's still recording, Rachel.
it's still okay. Sorry, I
I
just
think
wanted
it
to.
looks
we're all
like it's
good,
still
don't worry.
recording. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I just said it.
No,
said in
that's
the chat.
okay.
No worries, thank you.
Thank you, though.
No,
It'd be nothing worse than us. Well, we're talking to you that are here with us anyway, but yes, it'd be really keen for us to get the full recording. So thank you for bringing that up.
Right. I'll
Jane, do
go
you want to
on.
go
Yeah.
on to the workshops?
Yes. As previous points have raised, you know, we're talking to the employers, we're talking to the schools, we're talking to the colleges, but actually a really integral part of all of this is you as families. You've kind of been on the steps of the journey with us, because we have a representative from the Parents Carers Forum who joins our supported employment forums, which are held at regular times through the year. And it's for us, it's so important to have your voice, because we can do all this work and then it might be completely the wrong thing. So without your sort of input, it doesn't make sense. We haven't got a full circle of people involved. So how we've decided to do that is potentially from April onwards, we will be looking at doing some family workshops, whether these are online, whether these are in person. We haven't got all the details yet, but it is there for similar things to we're doing now. It's perhaps talk about other initiatives that may be starting up. I know that we've also had raised in other questions regarding things related to benefits entitlement and things like this. So we're hoping to be able to bring the expertise from the DWP into this, and also sort of access to work as well, because that is how job coaches are funded generally. And it's those other bits, those sort of, when you get down to the finer detail, that we felt that it was important that this would be perhaps done more of a workshop style. So,
and we're thinking that maybe we can use your parent carer groups to be able to explore being able to offer those workshops as well. So in times when we know that you collectively meet, they could be times that Jane and I could come and spend some time with you. So we're really keen to explore that and get that in place as soon as possible. So as we talked about, we're trying to work with our local employers and understand what the local market information is, so where recruitment is needed across the county, but also where our young people have got interest in work. So we've been talking to lots of employers and have been looking at kind of logistics, retail, hospitality, healthcare. A number of our young people are interested in exploring that. So you know, we're really keen to get as many employers engaged as possible, which links very nicely back to our summit and getting them together. And then we're trying to look at improving the recruitment processes onto current programmes. So being able to make that kind of really clear, seamless link between each kind of progression step, whether that be educationally or whether that be into employment, so that we understand what the requirements and expectations are of each step, and to make sure that our young people are prepared and ready to know what those expectations are, and also to be able to work with them to understand how we make those balances and those considerations to make sure that our young people can make those steps successfully. So as we said, we're working with Discovery, which is the supported employment team within Somerset, and to be able to increase the amount of job coaches that are available, so that we can have more flexibility for our young people to access more elements of work. And then working with schools to develop work readiness curriculum. So again, going back to the kind of workshops that we're going to be running next week with the specialist schools, is looking at that curriculum to be able to make young people ready for work, as ready as they can be, and to ensure that the education healthcare plans have strong careers elements and links with careers plans. So it's about thinking about those transitional educational healthcare plans and making the amendments that are around aspirational job outcomes, and what the expectations are for the next setting, rather than focused on what the setting is offering at the moment. So if we're thinking about a young person maybe moving on to college, or they may be moving on to a work programme like a supported internship, it's about making sure that those amendments are in line with what we want that setting to be able to support, and make sure that they are doing that wraparound understanding and support for that young person to reach the outcome that they want for themselves, which is around employment. So lots of stuff to focus on, but we just wanted to give you a little bit of an overview of what's happening in Somerset with us at the moment.
Okay, we just wanted to spend a few minutes talking about the project we referred to earlier, which was called Imagine the Possibilities. It was a group of just came together, so the council, 14 to 18 partnership,
14
to 19 partnership, sorry, got my ages all over the place there. Ourselves and Somerset Education Business Partnership. Now, for those of you who don't know who Somerset EBP, as we like to call it, is, they are there to connect employers with schools, colleges, to promote careers and help them sort of link up, do bits of specific work around, going into the employers, doing a bit of filming. It's just to sort of elevate that connection between what a career is and what locally employers are actually what employers we have. The Imagine the Possibilities is an online guide, and it is hosted on their website, and that's the link QR code there. We did recognise early on that the Families Guide would also be, it would be ideal if we could have that as a hard copy too. So that is now available as a hard copy, and we do usually take them with us when we're going around to events, completely free, able to take them away. And that kind of puts all together that information around transition. It's the sort of the statutory stuff, some things around careers, what the supported internship, traineeship, what they all are. What we have done in there, so that we keep them as current as possible, is we haven't put too many links in, so you're not going to be sat there typing out these long addresses on the computer, but we will refer back to the online version as well. So, but it's like A5 size, so it's quite tiny and neat to sort of carry away with you.
And those are available in the specialist schools, so they've got a box of them in the specialist schools. So if you would like one, they definitely have a box. If we're happy to send some out to the Parent Carer Forum, so that you've got some copies to yourself as well. But please go and have a look. There's also a feedback form. It's not onerous and it's not too long, but we really like your feedback. This has been put together for you and for young people to be able to have a little bit more of a succinct place to be able to access information about these things, because we identified, as we said here, that resources for young people and families needed information in one accessible space. So we wanted to be able to offer that. There's also some other resources. There's some great videos on there that we've videoed, some young people who are out at work, in work settings, as well as interviewed job coaches. We also have a video talking about what supported employment is in a little bit more detail. We're also using it as a bit of a place to be able to put other videos of case studies of young people and employers that are going through this supported employment journey. So a great place to go and access some information. But yes, please let us know what you think, and please have a look.
And the other thing on the EBP website that is useful to you be aware of, they have what they call a parent alert. So opportunities like the HPC, the police and other many other
Careers
things,
fairs.
everything. They
Yeah.
will, if it's free to sign up to, and you'll get just sort of a newsletter by email with all this information on as it comes out. I have popped the link for that in the chat because I don't think we've actually got it on there. So, but yeah, just by going on the Imagine Possibilities page and then the homepage of EBP, you're able to access that. Sorry.
So we just wanted to pop some resources here. So as we'd already said, Imagine the Possibilities, some information about Discovery, because we've talked about them a lot. Also some information about, we were saying earlier that a job coach has specific training to be able to be a job coach. And the British Association for Supported Employment, which is referred to as BASE, they are the people that offer this very distinctive and very specialised training. So a little bit of information there. We've also got some information about the offer that is out there for Hinkley Point C, Avon and Somerset, and also about the internship programme that there is a real drive for nationally, to be able to develop more internship opportunities, supported internship opportunities, not only in our county in Somerset, but across the country, which Jane and I, along with another team in Somerset, are working really hard to develop those more succinct, more seamless, more robust quality routes into work for our young people with SEND. Thanks very much.
Thank you.